Hey and Namaste everyone. How are you all doing today? I hope everyone is doing really, really well. Here in Sweden, we have a beautiful, beautiful sunny day. It's been sunny for the last couple of days, and it's really nice for the sun to finally be back and to have a hint of spring in the air. So, welcome to my channel. My name is Jacqueline van der Poy, and my website is Call of the Inner Voice, and you can find me at www.calloftheinnervoice.com. I help people with relationship issues, with issues that are happening in their life that they're having difficulties with solving. So if you're in that situation, go to my website and get in touch. I'm waiting to help you. So the topic that I'm going to speak about today is, why do we find it so hard to say sorry? What is it that stops us from saying a heartfelt sorry to somebody when we hurt them? Or for somebody to say a heartfelt sorry to us when they hurt us? That's the subject I'm going to talk about just now. So I think it's really, really interesting that I'm a teacher. I work in school. And I see right from the younger ages up to the older ages that it's very, very difficult for these children to say sorry when they upset another pupil, or when they hurt each other, they're playing a little bit too rough and somebody gets hurt. The one who does the hurting finds it really, really hard to say sorry. And if the sorry comes at all, it's always grudging. And this kind of makes me want to ask the question, why is it so difficult for us? It's not just the kids, because of course I relate what's happening with the kids to what's happening with myself. I see that when I was young, it was very hard for me to say sorry. And even now as an adult, in some situations, I still find it very hard to say a sorry. So what is it that stops us from a very young age to adulthood, from being able to open our hearts and to say sorry to somebody when we hurt them? Well, I think the reason for that is a few things. So the first thing I think is obviously that it starts from a very early age. And the problem with us saying sorry is that when we were young, when we're kids and we do something wrong, especially when we're at home and we do something wrong at home, our parents will tell us off and scold us and maybe pull our ears or something like that. And then we have to say sorry. We have to say sorry for the thing that we've done wrong. Okay? So from a very young age, from a very early age, we equate saying sorry to doing something wrong. You say sorry when you've done something wrong. Okay? And of course, when we're young, we're like, no, I didn't do anything wrong. I'm not saying a sorry because I didn't do anything wrong. If you're playing in the playground and you're a little bit too boisterous with your friend, and your friend falls over and starts crying, and the teacher comes running and picks up the child that's crying and says, oh, what happened? The child explains, oh, blah, 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 pushed me and I, fell down and I hurt my knee. And the teacher says, say sorry. Can you say sorry? You fold your arms and you're like, I'm not saying sorry because I didn't do anything wrong. And it's that attitude of, I'm not saying sorry because I didn't do anything wrong, that follows us throughout our lives. So we have that when we're kids, and we also have it when we're adults, because we have the same red thread through our lives that stops us. And that thread is, I didn't do anything wrong, so why should I say sorry? I still hear adults saying that today. When they're asked to say sorry, they'll say, well, why should I say sorry? I didn't do anything wrong. So we have been conditioned from a very young age to associate saying sorry with doing something wrong. And of course, for us, doing something wrong doesn't feel good. It's like you are a bad person. It's almost like it's a definition of our character, and that character is not very good. So we don't want to be seen as a person who is not very, very good. We want to be seen as good. We want to be liked. we want to be cherished, we want to be loved, we want to be all of these things. And doing something wrong makes us feel everything apart from that. We don't feel good with ourselves. And so that stops us from wanting to say sorry, because of the fact that it makes us feel bad. Okay? Because of that association that we associate when we were very, very young. Not just that, but saying a sorry is also potentially opening us up to vulnerability. And again, when we feel vulnerable, we don't like that feeling, because we feel powerless in our vulnerability. When we say sorry to somebody else, it means that we are the ones who are wrong. We are also the ones who have lost. We have lost the fight, the psychological fight. And we don't want to be in that position of feeling like we are nothing. We are nobody. Does that make sense to you? I'm going to try to explain it a little bit more. This whole idea of us saying sorry opens us up to being weak. We associate saying sorry to weakness. And I think many of us as adults still do it today. We associate saying a sorry to being weak. We don't want to be seen as weak. We want to be strong. We want to be fighting our cause all the time. And so showing any inch of vulnerability isn't something we want to do, because we don't want to open ourselves up for more attacks. Okay? And that's also something that happened when we were younger, when we were kids. When we showed vulnerability, we would get more attacks. When we showed our weak side, somebody would come in and, kick us until we were down. And so we're behaving now as adults based on how we behaved as children and what happened to us as a consequence of those behaviors. The other aspect is that saying a sorry is not really something that the ego likes very much. Our ego is that aspect of us that tries to protect the stand that we are taking. Our ego protects us from vulnerability, protects us from feeling weak, protects us from feeling like nobody, like we are nothing. Okay, so our ego is always there, checking in on how we are feeling, and then reacting or responding accordingly. So when we were younger and we did something wrong, our parents told us we were bad, we did something wrong, we had to say a sorry. The ego came up and said, but I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything, why should I say sorry? The ego immediately came to protect you from the stand that you took at that time, which was, I haven't done anything wrong. And consequently, the ego is still protecting you today with those very same words which you have inside of you, which is, I didn't do anything wrong. Okay? So now our ego has become very, very strong as we become older. And there's so many more things that the ego is protecting us against. And when we try to say a sorry, a heartfelt sorry, it's very, very hard for us, because we don't want that aspect of ourselves, the weakness, the feeling like a nobody, the vulnerability to come into play. So we protect ourselves, or shall I say the ego protects us. The ego stops us from being able to feel all those things that don't feel good for us. And so that the sorry becomes very, very difficult. So how do we get round it? How do we get round our egos? How do we start to be able to say sorry and really mean it when we've done something wrong, or when somebody says to us that you've hurt me, you did something that's really hurt me, I don't feel good about this. What can you do? Is it possible for us to be able to apologize anyway, even when we think that we are right? When we apologize, it helps that person to feel a little bit more taken care of, meaning that their feelings are just as important as your feelings. Okay? When somebody says that you've hurt them and you're able to say sorry to that person, it not only restores the relationship because of that situation that's just happened, it also helps that person to feel valued. It helps that person to feel that you care enough to be able to say a sorry to them. When we don't say a sorry, on the contrary, what it does is it makes that person, the other person, feel very, very down, devalued. Their feelings are not worthy of a sorry. What they're going through is nothing to you, that you don't actually value what they're saying to you. And of course it can break relationships as well. Okay, so if you're in a situation where somebody needs a sorry, and try to say it. It means you have to climb over your ego. You have to go against what you're feeling inside. That feeling of, I didn't do anything wrong. That feeling of, no, I don't want to do this. Do it anyway. Climb over your ego. Say sorry. Because when you say sorry, what you're doing is you're reducing the power of your ego. And you're bringing up the power of your heart, the power of empathy, the power of compassion. And it's going to help you to heal a lot of your relationships. Maybe it sounds easy. It sounds easy to just say, I'm really, really sorry. But, like everything that I speak about, this requires awareness. It requires your awareness of what you are feeling in that moment when that person says to you, what you did hurt me. Because all the time when we're in a situation, we're always thinking about ourselves. 9 times out of 10, we're not really thinking about the other. We're not thinking about how the other feels. We're thinking about how we feel all the time. It's not a bad thing. It's not a good thing. It's just how the situation is. But the more aware you become, the more you start to see that, yes, I am actually thinking about myself. There's always an aspect of yourself that you are trying to protect. Okay? The ego is helping you to protect that part of yourself. The more awareness that you have, the more you'll be able to see in that moment, in that situation, exactly what it is that you are trying to protect. And maybe if you don't see it immediately, later on, maybe in half an hour later, an hour later, 2 hours later, ping, it will come to you. You'll realize, aha, this is what I'm protecting. And it's normally something about yourself that you are protecting, that's stopping you from being able to say sorry, stopping you from being able to be vulnerable, and so on and so on. Okay? So, if you want to heal your relationships, first of all, the relationship with yourself, and of course then a relationship with those around you, close friends, family. The best thing to be able to do is to be able to say sorry, is to be able to apologize, is to allow yourself to be vulnerable, to allow yourself to feel weak, to allow yourself to just be who you really are. I think what happens when we are kids is that, especially when we're in young kids and we're in the playground and we're playing, and maybe somebody's, stronger than us, bigger than us, tougher than us, and bullies us. We start to build an armor around us. We start to be, feel that we have to be tough. We start to feel that we have to fight every single battle that comes to us. We have to argue every cause. Because otherwise, somebody's going to get the better of you. Somebody's going to, jump over you. Somebody's going to be better than you. Somebody's going to be stronger than you. And we're constantly fighting, trying to maintain our position, trying to maintain our self-worth and our value. But this constant fighting doesn't do us any good. This constant trying to be something that we're really not is detrimental to our health. It's detrimental to our well-being and to who we truly are inside. But the point is that we've been fighting for so long We built up this armor that says that we are tough and we have to keep fighting. And we keep doing it for so long that we think that it's who we are. So when we become adults, we still have this armor around us, this protection to stop people from getting the better of us. But that's not who we really are. And I think that fighting is draining. It drains your energy. It's very, very taxing to try to maintain that position all the time, because it's ultimately not who you truly are. So when you can also let the armor start to break a little, let the chinks in that armor open up, and you start to see that actually I don't need to fight every single battle. Some battles I can just let go. Some battles I can afford to lose, and it's okay. Because at the end of the day, it's only your ego that you're protecting at every point. It's that ego that keeps the armor tough around you. It's the armor that stops you from saying that, I'm weak and it's okay. But when you can start doing that, the more you can start doing that, the more that you start to realize that it's just, it's just not worth it. That actually, what are you trying to protect? What you're trying to protect is what you have built up yourself. You're not protecting yourself against anybody else. You're protecting yourself against your own values, the values that you have attributed to yourself. And that's when you start to discover that actually, I made the rules, I can also break the rules. I made this armor, I can take it off. And when you start to take off that armor, you start to realize that, life can be so relaxed. Life can be so relaxing and so relaxed. And, your battle wounds start to heal, because now you're not fighting every single person that you see anymore. Saying sorry and meaning it is a really, really big way to start to heal yourself. And, people will start to notice. Because all of us are in the same boat. We are all in the same boat on this river called life. Some of us, jump off sometimes and can't get back on the boat. And others simply just keep going, even though they desperately want to get off the boat. We are all in the same boat. All of us are going through exactly the same situations all the time. All of us have these feelings that I'm talking about. We just express them in different ways. Okay? But we all feel vulnerable. We all feel weak. We all feel like, I don't want to feel weak. We all put on an armor. We all try to protect ourselves. We do exactly the same things. It doesn't matter where you're from. It doesn't matter what the color of your skin is. It doesn't matter what your hair looks like, or the color of your eyes. At the end of the day, we are all in the same boat. So all of us are going through the same feelings in those similar situations that we find ourselves in. So apologizing is not weakness at all. Apologizing is strength. Being able to say sorry really shows your growth as a human being. It shows your compassion, your humility. And it's a wonderful, wonderful gift to be able to give to somebody. Tell them that you're really sorry for something that you did that hurt them, or for that other person to be able to say it to you. It's a wonderful gift for you as well. So, say sorry when you're wrong. Say sorry when you're right. Say sorry just because it helps the other to feel better. Say sorry because it's going to heal you. Say sorry because it helps to heal the other. Just say sorry. Okay? Say sorry. Reduce your ego. Don't let the ego win over. Break down those walls. Be a human being. Be compassionate. Be loving. Be caring. All of those things come from being able to say sorry. Being able to apologize when you hurt somebody, or when somebody tells you that you have hurt them. Be compassionate. Help each other. Love each other. That's what we're all trying to do at the end of the day, isn't it? We want to be loved. We want to love. That's all it is. That's all this life is really about, this journey that we're all on. We overcomplicate it. But the more we can reduce our egos, the less complicated everything becomes. So I hope this has helped. My name is Jacqueline Vanderpoy. I help people with relationship issues, any other issues that they're going through in life. Get in touch at www.calloftheinnervoice.com. I look forward to hearing from you. I look forward to helping you. And you can listen to more of my videos on this channel. You can also read my blogs. I have a blog on this title as well that you can read on my website, www.calloftheinnervoice.com. I also have Instagram and Facebook that I promote what I'm doing. So it's been a pleasure speaking with you today, and I look forward to seeing you on my next video. Thank you and Namaste.